Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts Podcast. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're giving our first thoughts on Star Wars, Mandalorian, or The Mandalorian, and Grogu.
Yes, he's the Mandalorian. There's a lot of Mandalorians.
Yes.
Well, that was a movie.
When was the last time you saw a Star Wars movie in theaters, Justin?
All
of them?
I mean, the only one I missed was Solo, I think.
Cool. The last time I saw a Star Wars movie in theaters was Rogue One.
Damn.
I swore off the franchise, but then this son of a bitch was like, we're reviewing Star Wars, right? And I was like, I guess.
I mean, we didn't have to. I was going to see it with or without you. I'm still seeing it again, but
Yeah.
I tend to see them in theaters. It's something about, I don't know, with movies for me, it's never really the size of the screen or the resolution really, outside of crazy IMAX ones.
Sure.
It's the sound. And, Star Wars is a movie to go see in theaters for the big explosions and such.
Yeah, so obviously, grew up on Star Wars. I was a huge Star Wars fan as a kid. The sequel trilogy really turned me off. I still haven't seen episode 8 or 9, because I was that much not a fan of episode 7. Never saw Solo.
You need to watch 8 and 9.
I will eventually, don't rush me. It really honestly made me not a Star Wars fan. The Force Awakens did. And Rogue One was fine. It was definitely better than Force Awakens, but I had no desire to, watch anything new. I'd seen probably about half an episode of The Mandalorian.
No, it's funny, because I was kind of a similar way, but not with the movies, with TV shows.
Sure.
Because after the first two seasons...
I want to see Andor. I've heard nothing but good things.
I've heard great things about Andor. I really should watch it. But after the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, they did Boba Fett, his own TV show.
Boba Fett?
Yep.
Boba Fett? Where?
I hated that TV show.
Yeah, I think most people did. I thought Mandalorian fell off too, from what I'd heard.
The 3rd season, I heard really horrible things about the 3rd season. Now, I just watched it very recently. I think it's probably overhated, but it's definitely the worst of the 3 seasons, and that Jack Black and Lizzo cameo is the most painful thing of the whole show.
I've seen that.
Yep.
I also did see somebody made a fan edit of the Kenobi series where they took it just the good parts and made a movie out of it.
I've heard people didn't like that one.
And see, because there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of really bad in that show. I've seen clips. It's just Disney Channel bullshit, honestly, with Princess Leia outwitting and running away from professional killers as this little child, and then she's running through the forest and then ducks under something and then rah, shucks. All that to say, I am very critical of Star Wars because it was at one point very near and dear to me. Yeah. I don't really care that much about Star Wars anymore because of just the oversaturation of really bad Star Wars shows and movies. I was critical of Star Wars back before most people were. I didn't like the animated show. Well, okay, I haven't watched a lot of the animated show, but the animated movie from the show, hate that.
Okay. So the Clone Wars
I know
movie...
the show is supposedly better. Also, I've heard that the show takes several seasons to get good. So at a certain point in time, I was trying to rewatch, or essentially watch Star Wars the whole way through in world chronological order. Just for some stupid sick reason of mine. But from what I had seen from the Clone Wars show, I was enjoying it. But it'd be a real interesting watch to have watched straight up, because it jumps around a lot. It's not the most linear story in the world. Yeah.
I've heard really great things about the end, but I'm nowhere near there.
I also just fundamentally disagree with the show in several, just principal ways, in that, for instance, Anakin should not and could not have had a Padawan. That's just not how it worked. And then the fact that that's canon now just really annoys me.
And not only is it canon, she was in, she was in Mando, yeah. And
I know. And I'm that's why it's canon now.
She got her own show.
And it's bullshit. And it doesn't make any sense. Ahsoka is a great character, but she shouldn't exist. Or, what she should have been was Obi-Wan's new apprentice. We actually got into this in our drunk review over on Simon's Rants. Connor and I were saying this. It should have been because now Anakin is a knight,
Yeah.
not a master. He's not a master, so he can't teach people. He should have been no longer under Obi-Wan's tutelage, so he now has a new Padawan, but then they're like, buddy cop, like, going off doing their thing, but then she kind of is tagging along because he's like, I'm sort of teaching her, but not really.
I can't remember the whole movie setup. Wasn't it supposed to be at first? Like, she was supposed to be, like, Obi-Wan's Padawan, but then she, like, met Anakin or whatever, and then they, like, palled along for a little bit, and he's like, no, you're gonna be your Padawan now, and...
I don't remember because I hate that movie.
It was not
It is
not
one of
good.
the worst things
I just
I've
happened
ever
to
seen.
have watched it like within the last year.
I watched it about a year ago too, and I don't remember.
Well, damn.
Because I reviewed it for Simon's Rants last year. So I watched it probably about 15, 16 months ago. Don't remember a damn thing other than, the Hutt is pretty prominent. So this film has a lot of ties to that film, ironically.
Yeah.
I was trying to make a point about this film in that I am extremely critical, as you can tell, of all things Star Wars because of the place in fandom where I came from. I was a very strict fan of it, that even a lot of the legit Star Wars projects that were happening before Disney took over, I was not a fan of because I was like, this doesn't and should not fit into the canon. I have obviously allowed some of that into my viewing, I was going to say pleasure. I don't know if I'll put it that way, but like I have watched other things that I don't really think should be canon and been okay with some of it.
Yeah.
And so the best I can say about this movie is it was fine.
Yeah.
And I think that is, like, I didn't want to just start by saying that because people would be like, oh, okay. For me to say that is a very massive compliment to a modern Star Wars film. This is fine. When I go and text Connor and Eric about this, and for those of you who don't know, you should check out Simon's Rants. We've got a lot of fun stuff over there. I'm going to text them, it was fine, and they'll be in disbelief that I say such a nice thing about this film.
Damn. I know it's like that with you with Star Wars nowadays.
Well, it's very rare that they're a positive rating film or show or whatever. Like I said, I haven't seen Andor. I also haven't seen Solo, which those two are the most popular projects outside of Mandalorian since Disney took over, as far as I'm aware. Andor, Solo.
But then the Rogue One came after that, right?
Yeah.
So then...
Oh, I didn't say Rogue
Solo.
One. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Solo, Rogue One, Andor, top 3, no doubt. With probably Rogue One being miles ahead of the other two.
I would think so.
But Andor is very popular from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Andor.
Yeah.
Which I can't say about Solo.
And I would also say that Rogue One is fine. I would say it's a little more fine than this, but it's a fine line.
It's definitely my favorite thing of Disney Star Wars.
It's a fine line, Justin. You can't just gloss over that.
I sure can.
Yeah, no, I thought Rogue One, albeit a fairly pointless movie, was a very well executed movie.
Yeah.
I didn't need that story to be told.
No one did, but you know what? I'm fine with it, mostly for the Darth Vader scene at the very end.
Everybody, yeah, that is by far the best thing about the movie. You sit through
100%.
about like 2 hours going like, okay. And then that scene happens, you're like, oh, okay.
I was not disappointed by my 2.5 hours of that movie.
Whatever it
and
is.
then that ending scene was just incredible. But no,
But I have
necessarily
never once rewatched that film. I have rewatched that scene on YouTube. I have never rewatched that film.
I want to say I ended up seeing the film twice in theaters, just from various sides of family and friends.
Sure.
But I saw it recently because I have another friend who has his own reaction channel, and he was starting.
We
Andor.
don't care. We don't care about whatever the fuck his
I ain't
name
plugging
is.
him. I ain't plugging him. But he was starting Andor, and he wanted to watch Rogue One because they're tied.
Sure, yeah.
So I watched it with him, and that was the last time I've seen it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It still held up to me. I mean,
Yeah,
my favorite thing of the Disney
Absolutely.
Star Wars era.
Absolutely. It's funny how this isn't even really a review of this film so far. It's
We'll
just
get
like
there.
talking about Star Wars in general, the general state of Star Wars. But it's like we talked about it before. Like the fandom is dead right now. Like this movie, I mean, it sold less tickets based on our local theater. Like, this isn't a nationwide experiment here. I'm sure time will tell. But, like, this sold less than the horror movie that came out this weekend.
Yeah, and this is...
Passenger.
I know it was the 10:30 showing, but it's still opening Friday night.
We were looking at the 7:30, too.
Yeah.
We saw, Friday night. It was not packed.
Yesterday had a lot more people, which I feel is a little rare now. But it wasn't... Those theaters weren't, full.
Right.
They just had, they were about half full.
But more people were picking to watch a new, not based on any existing property horror film than they were going to see the latest installment in what once was the most expensive franchise in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's the state of affairs when it comes to Star Wars, where it's like the franchise just doesn't have the same pull anymore. Now, also, granted, this film, if Star Wars was what it once was, this is a straight-to-streaming film for them.
Yeah, I will say this, as much as I like Mando and Grogu, I like their dynamic. Mm-hmm. I like good portion of the story that the TV show has told. This did feel like a slightly higher budget, like 3 episodes put together instead of like a really deserving of a movie. This is Mando season 4, kind of.
And it should have been a season, is my opinion.
Most people's opinions.
Because 3 episodes, yes, but should have been at least 8 episodes with the amount of story that we just blew right by.
Yeah.
And it's like we didn't take time for any development in the plot or characters in this film. And I was like, I know I'm, a third party here, not having witnessed a lot of the show here, but just as far as basic pacing goes, I wish we spent more time doing literally everything that happened in this film. And I will wait to get into spoilers to get specific about very important moments, but just generally speaking, like, it becomes all right, we're gonna go here, okay, now that we're here and we did this, now we need to go here and do that, now we need to go here and do that kind of film.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's like we had about 10 plots happen in this film, which is fine for 10 episodes. But instead we did it in 2+ hours, and it's like, so we're only dedicating 15 minutes to each plot.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, because it's like, is this because you have Pedro Pascal you want to jump to movies? Is this because you have no other fucking movies that have made it past the development stage
more
recently?
To that, yeah. Because it's like, the only profitable thing they've got going right now.
Yeah, but like they've announced at least the developmental stage for like 16 other movies.
Yeah.
And I don't hear about basically any of them anymore besides the ones that have gotten canceled.
Yeah. Because, they keep canceling everything because Star Wars isn't a profitable franchise right now, except for the nostalgia at Disney.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Which, by the way, there was at least 3 scenes in this movie that were directly to influence Disney rides, hopefully. Like, literally how they were filmed, shot, edited together was like, oh, wouldn't this be a fun ride? I'm like, yeah, probably.
We'll get that Mando and Grogu 3D ride going.
Yeah. Also, it speaks to the quality of the performances in this film when I think the best acting in this film was by Martin Scorsese. He was my favorite performance in this film. 100%.
I gotta say, Mando is not a very expressive character for Pedro Pascal.
No, which is good because I don't think Pedro Pascal, if he was asked to do more as far as, like, acting, like, I mean, he's a fine actor and all, but, like, his personality in a Star Wars franchise, if he was asked to be more of himself, wouldn't mesh.
No, they very much want him to keep very quiet, very stoic, very calm.
Which in hindsight, it's a very weird casting choice.
Yeah. Looking at the other roles of his, it works, but it's not one I would have expected. No. I remember being shocked back then, but he was a lot newer, so it was just kind of
that's how I heard about him for the first time, because what was he in?
I knew him from Narcos.
Yeah, I never watched Narcos.
I can't remember when Kingsman 2 came out, but I think he was in that too, and then there was...
Also didn't watch that.
I know Last of Us was much later, but there was something else that I had seen him in, I think, before Mando.
The first thing I saw him in was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And I was like, I love this guy. And then the next thing I knew, he was massive. He was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, over in Martell. Yeah.
And So then I found out shortly after that, or whenever it was like, oh, he's the Mandalorian. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
The goofball guy that was funnier than Nicolas Cage in the Nicolas Cage movie is the Mandalorian? I remember being like, that's weird. But I don't know, I've never seen the show and moved on with my life. And then, like, every role I see him in, he's a goofball or something like that.
And this is the role where he just has to play it the most
Stoic.
serious. And then, show a little bit of repressed care for the child.
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly his son. And, he clearly loves him and all and cares deeply about him, but it's like super repressed.
Yeah, which is fine. I think he's fine in this movie. He doesn't do much of anything, because he's got his helmet on 90% of the movie, if not more.
He is just as serviceable as he is every other time he plays Mando.
Yeah.
It's a solid role, but like he doesn't have to do a hell of a lot in it. And you when he puts the mask on, you start to wonder how much he's actually even doing there.
Oh yeah, it's like he takes the helmet off for like 2 seconds, and then he starts fighting something, and he's like, I need to put my helmet on. It's like, yeah, so the stunt double can come in.
Yeah,
because couldn't keep that helmet off for too long.
But like the whole part of like the character creed is like he's not supposed to ever take the helmet off. And the one time he did like twice in the whole show for a little bit, and then he got like deep trouble with the other Mandos.
Yeah. I will say at one point, and I pointed it out to you, he's walking along next to Sigourney Weaver, and he's got like the limp wrist thing going. I was like, one, I don't expect that from Mandalorian, and two, that's definitely Pedro right now, because I don't think a stuntman is gonna be walking around limp wristed like that. I was like, that is so gay. And I mean, sure, go for it, Pedro, but like, I wasn't expecting that from Mandalorian.
It's a Mandalorian power move. You wouldn't understand.
It means hope in my world.
This is how Grogu's people say, may the Force be with you.
But speaking of Baby Yoda, though, because I am very aware of him, I couldn't avoid Baby Yoda, but I've never seen him really, other than like tiny clips and stuff here or there. So this was my first time having real legitimate exposure to him. I can tell obviously why he's so popular, both for the cute factor, also the fact that they use practical effects for him, an actual puppet rather than CGI. They used a lot of practical effects in this movie, and let me tell you, I'm grateful for that. But also, I have to say, as a critic, just because it's practical doesn't mean it's good, and a lot of the puppetry in this movie is dog shit. That being said, I would much rather prefer terrible practical effects over terrible CGI.
That's fair.
I will take that, but some of the puppetry is just bad. Really bad. Between Grogu and whatever those other little munchkins are.
I cannot remember what they're called, but they fix up some of the droids. They were in the third season. I don't remember for sure. You like squeezing them.
They also, for like close-up and insert shots of certain CGI characters, if it's like just like one of the Hutt's hands at one point, it's a glove, and I'm like, that looks so different than the CGI version that I'm just like jarred by that. Yeah, so the practical effects are a welcome change of pace, but I don't know what it is since the passing of Jim Henson. Puppetry in Hollywood just hasn't been very good. Like, there's some exceptions here or there. Like, Harry Potter had some good practical effects in the puppetry and stuff. I was reminded of that because in this they have a similar effect where they've got a bird on a perch, like they had, Fox the Phoenix in Harry Potter, and it looked worse than Phoenix, which the Phoenix from 25 years ago. And I'm like, that's not good. But it's, it's a lost art form where, like, we don't do it a lot, so there's not very many people who specialize in that. So, yeah, cool practical effects, but they're also not great, need some work, especially when multiple times they just don't even bother moving Grogu's mouth when he's making sounds. Like, that is an open mouth sound. He's not crying like a baby with his mouth closed. I'm sorry. Suspension of disbelief is tough.
Grogu just babbles in all sorts of ways.
Yeah. This movie's fine. There's a few fun action sequences, nothing crazy, but fun, fine. The plot is serviceable, nothing special either.
TV show plot.
Yeah.
Movie action, I guess, but not the greatest Star Wars action that we've seen. Not even remotely close. But,
It is what it is.
Above average Mando action, I guess. Trying to rethink
it
the
is.
TV
It
show,
is
but,
funny though, because I'm thinking. Granted, I haven't seen the Mandalorian, but comparing it to like actual Star Wars film stuff, it's like, not that those fight scenes are very good either, but like when a guy walks into a room with a lightsaber and everybody's shooting at him and he's just, crushing it, blocking everything.
Yeah.
Cool, that's one thing because it makes sense. When you walk in and all you've got is a gun and you're surrounded by 50 people with guns and you're not dying, I'm just like, once again, it's hard to suspend the disbelief here.
See, but that's where you're not seeing the TV show. Because he's got the full Beskar armor.
Okay,
So,
but they're not shooting him. If it was deflecting off of him, cool, awesome, great. It's not. They're just not shooting him.
well, everybody's seen Beskar now. So.
They're taking turns to run at him and get punched in the face.
Yeah, sometimes they make the villains in the serious shows and movies just so fucking dumb.
It's astoundingly
But
stupid.
I gotta say that Beskar shit is the biggest cheat code in a long time.
Yeah.
No blasters touch it. Lightsabers can't touch it. The dark saber can't touch it. Literally, they had one weapon that could pierce through all the Beskar armor, and they went, that could be used against us. Let's destroy that.
Yeah.
And it became Grogu's chainmail.
So, my favorite thing about this movie, though, was honestly in, like, the small details. Because, like, there was very, like, this isn't member-berry-ish at all. It's fan servicey, though, but in subtle, actual fan ways. Like, on the wall, they've got the head from one of those alien, the cat-like alien thing from episode 2 when they're in the arena fighting those.
Yeah.
They had one of those up on the wall. They had, him have the rifle, which you said may or may not have been in the TV show.
I don't know that he used it, but there's another character that might have used it.
But it's the rifle from the original, the first ever appearance of Boba Fett was in the holiday special as an animated character, and he has that rifle, and so you get to see that there, and it's just like fan servicey stuff like that is great because it's not distracting, it's not demeaning to the audience, it's not belittling, and you're like, you got it. It's like, oh look, here's a fun little thing, and it doesn't take away from any story that's being told. So, it's just like this. It doesn't feel necessarily like a Star Wars film. Like, this doesn't feel like an event like the first 6 movies did. Not counting the TV movies like Holiday Special and the Ewok movie. None of that. But like episodes 1 through 6, when those came out, it felt like an event. It felt like something important. This doesn't. It feels like a filler episode.
It's kind of wild because when it first got announced, I really thought, oh, okay, this is gonna be an event.
Yeah.
People really like Mandalorian. People really like Grogu. This is gonna be, I don't know what they're gonna do, but this is gonna be a big thing for the Star Wars world. And
they waited too long.
Oh, they definitely did.
People don't care about Baby Yoda as much as they did 3 years ago.
See, that's the thing. The 3rd season wasn't great.
Yeah.
Boba Fett wasn't great.
Mm-mm.
I think people thought Ahsoka was solid. Andor was solid. I hear nothing but horrible things about the Acolytes. There's been a lot of misses since then to dampen the feels.
And it was
towards
already
the
on
series.
shaky ground with episodes 8 and 9. Like, people were like already kind of halfway out the door, and then they just aren't adding anything new worth watching.
No.
And so, yeah, I don't blame the fan base for kind of leaving, but it's a shame when this is like the best theatrical product they've had in a while, and people aren't really showing up for it, which is, like I said, unfortunately predictable at this point.
But I still don't think that derails this particular portion of the Star Wars franchise. Because what the fuck else do they have?
That's what I was going to say.
I still
it
think
can't
he's
be
gonna
derailed
get-
when you're like done with it.
Yeah, I still think he's gonna get at least 2 more movies.
Why?
Well, because what, are they gonna bring him back to the TV show?
I think they might be done with him.
I don't know. I mean, what else? That's what I'm saying. What else do they have?
I don't think they have anything
How
else.
can you be done with him if he's willing to go on?
I don't think he will be. I think Pedro's probably done with it.
Maybe, I guess.
Because, I mean, he's bored as hell of just showing up for 5 days and then having his stunt double do the rest of it. Like, that's got to be, like...
Is he bored of hell of the checks?
I don't know. I mean, that depends on how good they are. I don't know. He's getting plenty of checks everywhere.
I mean, he's kind of
He's
the
in
face.
Marvel now.
Yeah, he is getting he can get money wherever the fuck he wants. But he is kind of the face of Star Wars right now until like I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be Rey getting her own trilogy, and if that happens, okay, she takes back over. But like I've heard basically nothing about that outside of that it was at one point supposed to be happening. So she's the face for being in numbered movies.
I have some beachfront property in Colorado if you're interested in buying.
Listen, I don't believe in any of this, but I remember it was announced. So if it were to happen, that'd be the biggest thing they have.
Rey is one of the least popular characters to ever be introduced by Star Wars.
I still think movies with her would probably sell better than this. And I didn't think that going in, but I still think they would. Now, I think this is the next biggest thing they have right now.
I think they need a nice long break. That's what they need to do.
They're definitely not going to take a break, though. It's just a matter of...
They're scaling way back, though.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, they have to be done with all these TV shows. I mean, you can't pump out as much and get as
it's just not profitable.
There's got to be an era of Star Wars or a certain type of character that they can focus on that isn't Skywalker. And I just don't know what it is. But there's got to be something out there. This is a big-ass universe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time frames they haven't touched on at all.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, they just don't talk about anything between episode 1 and 2. That's never talked about at all. And maybe, it's a boring time. Nothing was happening other than Anakin being trained. But it's like, something had to be going on there. Nobody ever talks about that at all.
Because I was watching a little bit of like that in World Order timeline. I'm just trying to think of what happened. I know there was like
nothing.
Dooku falling to the dark side in that period of time.
Yeah.
There was another like Yoda Jedi Master. I think he killed on the way out too. I don't know what that is. It's like a girl, Yaddle.
Yeah.
Yaddle. Something like that.
Yeah. She just completely disappears between movie 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Or episode 1 and 2. Yeah. Also, something. Little known fact people don't really talk about. In episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Mace Windu is the head of the council. By episode 2, Yoda is back as the head of the council. So at some point, Mace Windu stepped down to let Yoda take back over, because he originally was the headmaster, but then for some reason Mace Windu, I guess, took over because Yoda was too old or whatever, and then Mace Windu went, okay, you take it back. Not that this deserves a TV show or a movie, but like stuff was happening. We could just have a movie or show about like the goings-ons at the Jedi Temple. Make it animated so we can have Anakin involved and stuff.
I mean, there have been a couple of those shows. I don't know if you ever saw any of them, but there's like Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith and such, where they tell little individual stories around the world. They don't really get the same popularity that these live action
but at this point you have to just start catering toward those diehard fans.
Yeah.
Because you've done nothing but disenfranchise your biggest selling point for a decade now by pissing off everybody that was like really invested in the franchise to try to cater to a larger audience that ended up not caring. Because you try to change the franchise into something it wasn't to make it more wide appealing.
Yeah.
And when that didn't work, not only did you not reach that new audience, you left the old audience behind. So what you should do is go apologize to them and win them back by doing the nerdy shit.
I think this is the newest thing they've done. This animated
this year,
Darth Maul TV show.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
Yeah. Seems like they still have the ability. They just make all the wrong decisions.
Yes, they do. Like in this, for example, if they were truly Star Wars fans, this is a joke, because the people involved definitely are Star Wars fans. It felt much more Star Warsy than anything that I've seen them do in a while. But like I said it to you during it. So they're like on a bayou kind of situation.
Yeah.
And there's this fish guy. No Asian accent. If you're a fish man in the Star Wars universe, you need a racist Asian accent. That's just the rule. Like, clearly, you don't know that you can't give him some, like, I don't know, Louisiana accent kind of thing or whatever they were going for. That's just wrong. Okay? He needs to sound like South Park Japanese. Like, that's just what you gotta do. Oh, really? But what I will say, though, is having a character like that, though,
Right.
where you're just like, you're on a alien planet that is... This is tiny spoilers, but it doesn't really matter. There's a planet run by the Hutts. It's not Tatooine, though. And
I feel like there's a lot of worlds that are probably run by the Hutts.
Sure.
I don't know what they are, but I feel like that's
but
not
like,
a
so
spoiler.
you're introduced to this, swamp kind of planet. Everything's built into this swamp-like universe or whatever world, and so it looks very distinctly one way. But then you go to a different part, and it's still in the same world and feel technically, but it's like a bayou part, and you've got this alien on the bayou, and I'm like, that is so Lucas right there.
Yeah.
Because like he put the Gungans and the Nabooians, whatever, the Naboo people on the same fucking planet. Now, yes, we had Coruscant, and it's a whole just giant thing. Tatooine also, but it's like people forget that Tatooine wasn't just the general public. You also had the Sand People. Not a racist thing, just that's the names.
Don't worry, they still call them that in the TV shows.
Sand People, and you've got the Jawas. You've got different groups on the same planet because that makes sense. And I feel like we kind of lost a lot of personality and depth in the new Star Wars. Is Star Warsers.
Yeah.
Because it's just like so basic and plain and boring. And this, it felt like, one, people involved cared, and two, they were making new stuff that felt similar rather than just retreading old stuff. Now, I know they've made some new stuff. That's mainly a stab at the sequel trilogy because they never did anything original to save their lives. But it's just like, I appreciated that. And like, sure, is it spot on to Star Wars? Not necessarily. There was definitely things about this movie that I was like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. But what it did feel like was those early, before Disney, pre-Disney offshoots. Like the TV show, like the animated movies, stuff like that. That's what this reminded me of. And so I'm like, this is not what I want from a Star Wars movie, but it's a hell of a lot closer than most of what we've gotten from Disney, and that is a massive step in the right direction.
I can agree with that, and I think it's in large part, at least with Mando, how much time Mando has had. 3 seasons of a TV show, 8 episodes apiece, at minimum half an hour, but a lot of them are like 45 minutes because they just will let them do variable, and it makes you feel like you're in a alive Star Wars universe again, rather than
great.
what the compact stories that movies have to tell.
Yeah.
It's like.
But as somebody who hasn't seen the show, I felt that in this movie. Another big thing that helps on top of that, though, is having a real director involved. Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
A great director making your movie.
He has been
a life force for this franchise.
I mean, has he been the best part of Disney for the last nearly 20 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
He's the best part of the MCU and the best part of Star Wars.
Damn.
Yeah, we said it. He's better than the Russos. Fuck
almost
the Russos.
20 years.
Yeah. 2008.
Yeah.
That was Iron Man.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's the reason either franchise has had any success.
And again, I think that's why this movie works compared to a lot of other stuff, is because he's been so heavily involved in Mando the whole way through. Writing, directing, constantly.
Yeah.
So he knows the trend that we wanted.
He also just knows how to make a movie.
Yeah, that is true too.
And like, same thing with Solo, which granted I haven't seen, but I've heard it's like, it's okay. You had Ron Howard involved. You had a real director.
Yeah.
And this is like, we're going back to the conversation now. Granted, this movie had very mixed reviews, but it was like when you had Sam Raimi do an MCU movie. Doctor Strange, too.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Now, it had very mixed feelings among the people.
Well, listen,
but I'm like, but it's a real fucking movie, though.
People are a little too fixed on that MCU
feel, yeah.
Not just the feel, but the template, man. You got to follow the exact plan.
Right.
No.
Guess what? It was fucking boring, and a real director stepped in and said, how about we do something fun? And both the MCU and Star Wars are terrified of that. But when you've got a certain kind of director that can work within that and still make something good, That's really difficult because it's like, Sam Raimi didn't work within their template, so he got booted right away. He was going to do multiple movies for them, didn't happen.
Yeah.
Another example is Phil Lord and Chris Miller were supposed to be involved. They were supposed to do Solo, and then they got booted because their ideas didn't align with what Star Wars wanted. And so, Disney wanted for Star Wars.
Right,
there we go.
Right.
And so then they brought in Ron Howard, who was, albeit better than the average director, but still a safe pick. And so it's like, Jon Favreau is just the perfect level where he's a really good director, but he's still going to play it fairly safe.
But he is also the voice.
Yes.
Like, he sets the direction.
Yes.
So if he doesn't want to play it safe, who the fuck's going to tell him?
Well, Kennedy.
They can try.
Kennedy.
Yeah, they can try, but it's Jon Favreau. Look at how much he has done for them.
Yeah.
How much wealth he has spread around that company.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they might try, and they might shut the fuck up quickly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't realize until recently that he actually directed this, too. I thought he was just producing. I was like, it's going to be dog shit.
I didn't realize he directed it as well. I knew he was involved in writing it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was directing as well, and,
it's a good thing he did.
Yeah.
Because if not, whew. We're getting into spoilers now, so if you don't want anything spoilers, you should click away, go watch it, come back, and we can talk about it then. But in case our ratings weren't clear, I'm giving it a 6. It was fine.
I will go 6.5.
That is also fine. Thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, click away if you don't want anything spoiled, but also don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So, spoilers. So, I don't care for the plot. It's based, obviously, around, in large part, Stinky. Is grown up now, and he's a gladiator. And he's also not a bad guy because he actually turns out hated Jabba the Hutt, his father, and so wants to be nothing like him. And just all of that character development just doesn't make sense to me. Nor does it feel true to the character. Like, I would have expected Jabba the Hutt's kid to be a scumbag.
I'm fine with his kid not being a scumbag, but I just don't feel like we got to see much of his transformation. We just get to hear that he transformed.
And has a six-pack now.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. Didn't care for also Jeremy Allen White playing him. I thought that was a weird choice. Also, don't like the Hutts being able to speak English. We can read subtitles. Let us read subtitles.
Yeah, especially because Mando very specific. There's a few times on the TV show where Mando can't understand like some alien, and he's like, "Do you speak Huttese?"
Yeah.
It's like, I can speak that.
Yeah. Speaking of Mando, though, he's important to this. They take his helmet, as we discussed.
Yeah.
He gets put into not the Sarlacc pit, but a dragon snake pit.
Whatever they want to call that, yeah.
Which was fun. I thought that was a fun deviation, that it was water.
Yeah.
And then I thought he was going to fight like an octopus thing, and it looked like... Because I thought all of those guard guys were all part of the same creature at first. Anyway, not my point. My point being, they took his helmet and dropped him down a pit. Then he starts fighting, and then he grabs his helmet from somewhere, and I thought it was somebody else's helmet. I'm like... Well, they made that helmet look too much like his own helmet. Nobody can tell the difference. So I kept waiting for him to be like, my real helmet. Put that on. Take this one off. And that never happened. I was like, oh, that was just his helmet this whole time?
No, I could tell once he got out of the water that it was his helmet. I just couldn't... It didn't make a whole lot of sense how he exactly got it back.
Like, it must have fell through the trapdoor, too, but, like, they were holding it over there. I don't know how that happened.
Tossed it in later, but we didn't even see that.
Whoops! This is priceless, but whoops! The dragon snake thing, or whatever it was, once again, it's like, it didn't outright feel like Star Wars, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of those weird little alien moments. What I really enjoyed, though, was having... the prequel trilogy droids covered in like moss and shit. Yeah. And just like old and degraded, but still like, oh, by the way, not cracking jokes. They were from episode 1 again before they got silly. I'm like, hell yeah. No personality. This is great. That was my favorite thing. Like, that was nostalgia bait for me. I was like, this is great. This is so good. I enjoy that so much.
Yeah, the droids it's kind of who's writing the droids this day, because sometimes they'll be stoic and killers, and every once in a while they got some real solid.
That's the only version that exists to me. The fucking, because even parts of Episode 3 are not canon to me. I just reject parts of that movie. It's so dumb at times. I just cannot accept droids randomly halfway through the Clone Wars, them installing an update that for some reason makes all of the droids, pardon my French, retarded. Like, just like, and also just like pussies. Like, they've got emotions where it's like Grievous takes the lightsaber away from him. Yeah, you're welcome. Like, what? Why would you install that personality trait into a killer droid? It's a battle droid, and he's getting offended because his general took something without saying thank you.
So it just makes somebody laugh. Somebody real high up in the Senate.
Yeah, Palpatine's like, look at these fucking idiots. You're welcome.
Like, kill me. Make thousands more of them.
Why is fear also an emotion
that
you put into these droids?
That makes the least sense to me.
They should be fearless killing machines, but they're scared of things, running away. And also, you see in the animated film, stupid beyond belief, because the good guys are climbing up the wall, and he looks too far and falls over the wall. Like, you're a fucking droid. Like, you should have perfect balance, because you can sense when you're off balance and correct it, like, instantaneously. It's just astounding to me. Don't get me started. So they weren't that version of this, though, and I was like, thank God.
And that's good, because it hasn't always held up, whether in this TV show or other TV shows. It varies. The higher end droids, they're the killing machines with no personality. Then you get to some of the fodder, and all of a sudden people start getting afraid of dying and shit.
I will also say, for all my complaints that I had about the, Grogu or whatever, I do want to double down. He is cute. He's funny. A lot of their quirky, fun little moments were great.
Yeah.
Him building a little tunnel for Mando while he was healing was a great bit where he just like, bam, bam, bam. That made me actually laugh. So this was as good as I really could have hoped for this movie to be. I mean, sure, it could have been a lot better, but I had no reasonable expectation for it to be any higher than a 6. The fact that it's a 6 is like, holy shit, we did it, guys. We have a positive rating in the Star Wars franchise again.
Yeah, that is one thing they did kind of strike gold with, was the whole Mando and Grogu relationship. That will however long they want this franchise to go, if this isn't the actual end, that relationship will carry this franchise. Because, like, he's never going to age.
Yeah.
Even though he will eventually age. Like, Mando would be dead by then. So they just get to play the cute father-son dynamic forever.
But so let's start from the beginning of this film and go through the plots. Yes, plural plots of this film, to really discuss how many episodes of a show this could have and should have been.
Yeah.
Because first plot is, Mando finishes one job, he goes home, and he gets assigned to go help with the Hutts. He doesn't want to do it, but he goes off.
Right.
That's a first episode right there. It's a light on plot episode, but we're being introduced to everybody again. First episode of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
one
probably
episode.
Just spend a bit longer on his original mission, too.
Yeah.
You get the action scenes there.
Yeah. Episode 2. He meets with the Hutts and finds out that his mission is to go bring back Stinky. So he goes to find Stinky. That is another episode right there. Finding Stinky. Episode 3 is finding that Stinky... Well, we'll probably put this at the end of episode 2, finding out that he's a gladiator. Episode 3 is infiltrating, because maybe put this at the end of episode 2 as well. So he infiltrates, try to convince him, and realizes, he doesn't want to leave. The only way to get him out is to become a gladiator. Episode 3 is becoming a gladiator and fighting alongside of him. That is a full story. When that started to happen in the film, I went, this is an interesting plot for the film.
Yeah.
Thinking that we could spend an entire movie if we wanted to on that plot. No, we spent 15 minutes on it, tops.
Listen, did Thor spend long on their gladiator plots? No.
I don't know, didn't watch it. Literally, have still not seen Ragnarok all the way through because I did not like it. Episode 4 would be You could spend, actually, screw it. We'll have 2 episodes of Gladiators, because I would like that plot. We'll do a second episode, so that one is continuing part 2 Gladiators, and then them breaking out, breaking free. Episode 5 would then be chasing down whatever his name was. Janu, whatever his name is, tracking him down, bringing him back. At least 1 episode of that. You could drag that out into 2 episodes if you really wanted to, but we're just going to say 1 episode for that. Episode 6 would be them parting ways with Stinky. Stinky goes off to do his thing, they go off to do their thing, and a mysterious guy shows up and comes after Mando. That's a whole episode right there. And then episode 7 would be Mando being kidnapped, taken to the huts. They reveal that they have Stinky, and they throw him in the not Sarlacc pit, and he gets poisoned. Oh no. Episode 8. The entire episode, Mando would be knocked out. We would be just following around Baby Yoda as Baby Yoda tries to take care of him in his vegetated state. Episode 9. This is what I'm saying. There's so many plots here. Episode 9 would be eventually Mando finally wakes up. And so then they're like, all right, we need to go back in, but we need help. So Baby Yoda and the gremlins leave while Mando attempts to infiltrate by himself. And then episode 10 would be the reinforcement shows up and they finish the plot. That's 10 episodes.
See? And all you have to do is chop out 2 of those, and you got yourself an actual season of Mando.
Yeah.
Because they're 8 episodes apiece.
Oh my God, there's just so much plot here that we just didn't do. And so it's like, ooh, fun idea, and we're done. Ooh, fun idea, and we're done. And it's like, flesh this shit out, man. Like, the Gladiator thing I thought was gonna last at least a little bit. No. Over in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go straight from, you gotta get in there, and you're gonna have to help him out in there, or get him to turn on our side. And no, you're gonna fight him now.
Yeah, you're going to fight him now, and then you're going to beat him immediately.
Yep.
And then you're going to fight 5 Gorgonites. And then, by the way, I need to show you the Gorgonites so you know how I'm not making this up. It's 100% true. They fought this motherfucker. That was one of the gladiators, was this guy, one of these Gorgonites. But yeah, did you never see this movie, The Gorgonites? That's Archer. He was like the main guy.
I guess not.
Oh, great movie. The movie's fine. It's not anything to write home about, but it's a lot better than anything I've seen from the franchise in a while, so I give it a thumbs up for that.
Yeah, it's nothing that screamed, this has to be a movie.
No, it should have been in season of TV.
But you know what? If you're a Mando and Grogu fan, this is better than season 3?
And if you're not upset with Stinky randomly having a 6-pack and being a gladiator.
I thought, because you know what? His 6-pack, I guess, was probably in the trailer.
It was.
Because I feel like I started seeing like people posting about how like...
It's weird that he's got like a human's anatomy.
Yeah.
For some reason, like he's got the same muscle pattern for some reason. I'm like, I thought they were like slugs with arms.
I think it was like, I started seeing people like post like lore from like other stuff. And they're like, well, you know, they're not all fat, the Hutts are actually great warriors with great bulging muscles, unless, they run everything and just eat themselves into the dirt or whatever. It's like, okay. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
I mean, we'd only ever seen, in live action films, we'd only ever seen 2 other Hutts. We saw Jabba and Jabba's wife in The Phantom Menace. That's it.
Oh, yeah. And
so
then
they were both fat, but okay.
I'm pretty sure it was them. Unless there was another pair, but I'm pretty sure it was those 2. Mando introduced the twins in season 1, and all they did was sit around and hire other people to do killing.
And then the animated...
Actually, I guess there was both that introduced them. But...
And when they first, since I hadn't seen that, when they first introduced the twins, first of all, I thought they were conjoined twins. It really looked like it.
They always looked conjoined. I never realized they weren't.
They may have been, but at one point there was one shot that made me think they weren't. Yeah, they definitely weren't, because they got 8 individually.
Yeah. But they always look like they were, because they're always piled on each other.
But I thought that the one was, I don't remember the name, but in the Clone Wars movie, there's a evil Hutt who I was like, I thought that was the one twin in this until it wasn't. So Unless it was, and I just don't know my lore. I don't know. I don't care enough. It was a hut that talked weird. All right, so that's what we had to think. I mean, honestly, if you're just dying to get out there and see a Star Wars movie in theaters that, like, won't make you mad at Kathleen Kennedy or Disney or whoever, go for it. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, blow your socks off, but it's a fun time that I don't regret seeing at all.
Listen, if you are a fan...
That means a lot coming from me.
It does mean a lot coming from me.
It really does.
I was never so disillusioned with Star Wars, nor was I ever so into Star Wars as
I think that was probably part of why then.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps to not be as much. I loved Star Wars as a kid, but like I wasn't caring what was canon, what was not, so everything was to me.
The first time I saw the Attack of the Clones trailer, I remember it. That's how much I cared about those movies. Seeing that trailer for the first time is a core memory of mine.
Some great times. But like, yeah, if you've seen...
I had Anakin/Darth Vader shoes. There was a, like, on the middle of the shoe, like the whatever the opposite of the sole is, the whatever. There was a logo where it was half Anakin's face, half Darth Vader's face, split down the middle. I had those shoes
Damn.
when I was a kid. That was the highlight of my year. I had an Anakin Skywalker costume when I was a kid.
They should have reversed into a Darth Vader costume.
Well, it was Attack of the Clones era. Then again, so were the shoes. I think people... Because, like, that was the era... A lot of people thought he was going to turn into Darth Vader by the end of Episode 2. Do you remember that? A lot of people thought he was going to be Darth Vader by the end of Episode 2 before the movie came out. And then Episode 3 was him going to, quote, as Obi-Wan said, hunt down and kill the Jedi one by one. Which we just never got to see.
Yeah, no.
We've seen a little bit of it since then through various media, but like everybody thought that was Episode 3 before the movies actually came out, which is why when Episode 1 came out and he was just a child, people were like, what? How's this timeline going to work? And then Episode 2, people were like, okay, well, he's going to grow up and then he's going to turn to the dark side. And then Episode 2, that's why most people feel like Episode 2 is a waste of time, like a filler episode. I love Episode 2, but that's how people feel. It's like, we didn't get anywhere with this. Like, he didn't turn evil yet.
I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot for him, I feel like. I mean, I guess it does.
It's establishing how he became evil. I'm fine with Episode 2.
I have no problem with it, but it does a lot more for the world of Star Wars than it does for him, particularly as a character. I feel like there's a couple of events in there that like you need to go through him to explain his life, but the rest of it is really just explaining how the world became the way it was in that movie, seemingly.
Yeah, I think it's also just really important, like, character development moments for Anakin to see him fall in love, see him lose important people like his mom. There's a lot of fun character study involved in Anakin where it's like, have you ever noticed that like everybody that he was close to, their last words to him were "I love you"? That's a fun thing to notice.
Oh, damn.
His mom says "I love" and then dies before she gets to say the "you."
Yeah.
But the last thing Padme says to him is "I loved you," and then, or "I love you," and then the last thing Obi-Wan says to him before he, cuts him up and walks away is "I loved you." All of the people closest to Anakin. That's just a really fun thing to see. There's a lot of fun, like, for all of George Lucas's flaws, he knew how to write a compelling story arc. He really did. And Anakin's story arc is so underappreciated by many fans. I love Episode 2. I really do. I think it's a really fun, good episode. Also, the set pieces are great. The gladiator scene, awesome. The whole fucking... all of the worlds in that. The Camino Inns. Oh. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, and you know what? Follow us on TikTok because we post sometimes. The latest video we did, by our standards, blew up.
Hey.
Because I don't have TikTok on my phone. I just log in to, like, post stuff.
Yeah.
And I hadn't paid attention. And, our videos, when they do well, get, like, 70, 80 likes.
Yeah.
The one where we talked about Adam Scott jerking off in bed, 450 likes. Yes. And I was like, what the fuck?
We have found our people.
Because here's the thing. I'll check, like, the couple days following to see how it's doing. had 1 like for 2 days. And I went, okay, nobody liked this. I get it. It was just a weird joke. All right, whatever. And then I logged back in for some reason. I think somebody sent me a TikTok. And so I was like, I gotta watch it. And then the notifications thing was like 500 notifications. And I was like, what? I clicked on it. It was like, you have 450 likes and new followers and comments. I was like, what happened? Yes. Anyway, yeah, follow us on TikTok. Sometimes we talk about jerking off.
Hey.
Other times we talk about really stupid other things. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.